Hey everybody, Tash B, and today I am speaking to the other half of the Piper Promotions conglomerate. Is that what I call it?
Little world of entity.
I'm speaking with Scott Piper, and we're actually down here at the Ninja I Am studio in Townsville, so you can see that in the background here. There's nobody actually doing workouts or playing on the equipment today or doing the Ninja work. You might do a demo for us later?
Yeah, no.
No? Okay. But we're
Be good
down
entertainment,
here.
but no.
We're down here because we spoke with Kate, who is the one half of Piper Promotions, the other week. And of course, we need to have the other half, which is Scott, who brings his name to the business. And just to talk about how Scott got started in business, how Piper Promotions got started, and some other really cool stuff. So Scott, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Tash.
being here. Thank you for sharing. Now, you and I only met very recently,
We did.
actually, and we were having a couple of beers at a friend's birthday party where we got chatting, and I have got to say, you blew me away with your story on how you got started in your business.
Yes, it's a strange one, isn't it?
Well, not really. I think it's definitely the story of following your passion and your passion developing and growing. So I'd really like to start there because you started out, you were initially working in corporate, in tech.
Yep, in IT.
In
yep.
IT, doing IT support. Was it IT support?
Yeah, IT was
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
IT solutions, yeah.
And but in your spare time, you were bodybuilding.
Yeah, it's a funny mix. I mean, I don't quite fit the mould of an IT gig per se, but always fun conversations when you're in that
Yeah.
arena. But yeah, 23 years of IT
Yes.
being involved.
Yep.
So yeah, it goes right back, right back.
And then
I'm only 21. trust
okay.
me.
I like to say that too.
Yes,
It's kind
yes,
of
yes.
yes.
Bit of GST, but yes, only 21.
But the bodybuilding side of things. So how did you get into bodybuilding?
Yes, that was funny. I was actually an avid soccer player, so
Yeah.
I played Premier League for many years, and we were doing really well, and I was sort of enjoying soccer, but sort of losing that little interest. So a long story short there is I turned 30 and we won the treble in
Yeah.
soccer world. People know that's all the major titles. So I wanted to try something new, and I was always doing gym, but started bodybuilding, and then sort of rolled into it. And then I got the rude shock that you can't actually bodybuild and do so much cardio. So that was that was a real wake up. I got excited in my first comp season when my trainer said, "You can start cardio now," and I thought, yes, I'll go down and play with the soccer boys. No, it was a totally different cardio. It was actually 12 minutes on the walker at higher than level 7, and that was it. That was my cardio, so getting ready for comp. So that plan went out of the window, so no more soccer.
So what made you get into bodybuilding to start with?
I just love gym, but
Yeah.
Obviously you've got to be goal orientated, so it's very interesting the discipline that you get from
Yeah.
bodybuilding. You learn a lot about yourself real
Yes.
quick.
Yep.
But whilst it's a solo sport, it's you do get the team building, but it is very much all about yourself and the discipline and things. So it's not everyone's cup of tea. Many, obviously, from my corporate world, I was still juggling both, so I missed out on many. I used to host a lot of the Cowboys boxes, the V8s, and I would rock up with my little lunchbox and have my own food and no alcohol for 10 years straight. I did that.
Because it's very, very disciplined, isn't it? You've got to really love what you're doing.
You do. But it becomes a habit, though, like everything. You just sort of, you tune into it, and you just but it does own you, it does consume you, but you can say that's very rewarding. You say, right, it actually reflected on my corporate world very well because of the discipline you learn to stay focused on things. I was actually, the more I trained, the harder I worked in both ways. So it was a funny mix, but yeah, it's a bit unorthodox. I was the boys used to laugh in the office when coming into comp time, and they'd put a sign on him and the old hangry and do not disturb dieting in motion and all this sort of nonsense. So they used to have good fun. And obviously the boys being in IT, and it's not judgmental, but they used to love their pizza and their McDonald's, and you come out and they're all say no. So they hate me if we get lunch because we'd all have lettuce and chicken. So yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah, you would have been a joy to be around.
Yeah, not at comp time. You get a little bit hangry, but yeah, getting down to sort of 5-6% body fat, and get like a Chico frog and run around. But yeah, it was but yeah, it's very much it's a great disciplined sport to get into.
Yeah, and you won a couple of titles too.
Yeah, I did well. I lost a few to some drug cheats, obviously, which leads into the federation I work with and own. But that was a few titles where a few empty wins that we got to the other side, and next year you find out they were tested positive, and you get missed my moment of glory. But no, I did all right. I got a few in my time, but also many times I didn't get anywhere. I mean, my first I don't know if people out there know Joel Bushby, but the natural transformer, who's quite a bit of a celebrity now. Him and I actually joked back in 2012. We were standing on stage together, and you go, all that time, all that work in Brisbane, and at the state championships, and we turned and looked at each other. Didn't even get a call out. We did one turns and rolled back, and then it was standing against the curtain, and we said, we may as well the same trunks as colour as the curtain because we're just blending in here.
Really?
So, but at that time, he was telling me about his business and what he was doing, and we're having fat chats at the back, and now he's a multi-million business and running amok and all around the world. So the people you meet and people you pass through, it's a funny thing. But so we did all right in the time. It was good fun. Yeah. But, now I'm just a fat promoter. As it well known.
I don't think that anybody would really be calling you fat, Scott. Definitely not. But it was your bodybuilding though, which is where Piper Promotions really did start, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. So that was my first event. So it was like your first child of your babies. Actually, it was 2011.
Yes.
I took over. 2012 took over and started rolling with ICN, or IMBA back then. Before we.
So what it was that they were doing a competition up in Townsville. Is that correct?
Yeah. So ICN's obviously worldwide, but Australia-wide, and they. My counterpart, Jason Woodford in Brizzy, came up, ran the first show, and it was a great little show at the RSL, but quickly realised it's very hard to do so from Brizzy, and the metro support, and that connection with trying to get local businesses and that support is very tough if you don't live here. So, the opportunity popped up, and he sort of coerced me into it with a gentle...
If you want to have an event, Scott, you might need to run it.
Yeah.
A bit like that.
Exactly right. If you want to see this keep going, you'll get in. And obviously though, I used great corporate contacts back then and some good friends, and that was probably the key. My little fit fam back then were just all avid to get into it. So, all right, let's do it. And then, the rest is history on that one.
But it's a big thing though, from going to participating in an event to then running the event, to get the sponsors on board, to get the venue on board, the behind the scenes, the tech, the lighting, all of those things. So how did you go with that? Well,
the irony is that we started really small, because obviously, but even that was just a daunting process. It was just, and we did it at the Ville on the old pavilion, for those who remember the tent, the marquee out the back. And I was still competing. So in 2013, 12, 13, I was still competing, and then 14, I looked at having another go, but 13 was my last season of competing, and I did a few shows in that year, and then I realised quickly that the Tropix with ICN was growing, and I went, I can't do this, it's too hard to do both.
No, it's a big thing to run the event and participate in the event. I know before where I've worked events, there is no way I was ever going to participate in the event too. It's exhausting.
And it was crazy, and just the logistics around it. But probably the thing didn't help is that the same very next year as we picked it up and put it into the convention centre. So little change in scope there. But
so your very first event, how many people did you have participating?
I think we had 100 individuals.
100 people.
Yeah, 100 competitors in the first one. We sold out. We couldn't fit any more into, and that was from logistics point too. Your first event, we freaked out. Where are we going to jam? And we're like sardines. No more selling tickets. And the pavilion. It's not that big back then. It was just get in. But but it was fun. The learnings you get. We think back now, and we got the stage wrong. The lighting was all botched. And it was you giggle now to what we produced.
Oh, well, that's it. You've got to start somewhere though, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You've got to give it a crack, and you learn. You learn real quick.
So did you make money from your first event?
We did actually.
Oh,
we did all right. Not much. But then after that, it turned a bit interesting. But then again, you got to grow.
So from that, what were some of the key learnings that you took away from that very first event that you did?
Probably a lot with the process. Like, it was just nutting out. Like, I'm a very logistical person, so obviously hence why Kate and I work so well together now, is different skill sets. But just it's attention to detail. But I think with my corporate background in IT, that also helped. little things like we used to do paper-based entry forms when I picked it up, and I just said, what's this paper thing? You know, I'm not doing these. So.
Yeah, exactly. We're not in the 80s.
No, but that was just how everything's always been done. And I
Yeah.
said, no. So little things like create e-forms, and from the very first show, put them in the
Yeah.
spreadsheets, and things like just how do you simplify things, and each time we just kept reviewing it. But yeah, there was a lot of learnings in that
Yes.
first one, and but just as always, can't do without people. Like I was pretty lucky. I had some really good people
Yeah.
around me that jumped in and made it happen.
That's good. Yeah, you've got to surround yourself with the right people.
Oh yeah.
Now, remind me, that was only 3 years ago, is that right? 4 years ago?
No, actually, that was 2012, 13.
Okay. So what are we at then? 6 years ago
7
then?
years, yeah, so
Yeah,
Tropix
okay.
in its 7th year now.
Right.
So,
Yep. So
yeah.
now talk to me now. So Tropix year 1, you had 100 competitors, you sold out, you had lots of learnings. What does Tropix look like today?
Well, we actually, yeah, so it's crazy actually when you look back. You've got to keep reflecting each year, but we
Yeah.
are the largest regional fitness show in the country. So little old Townsville.
That's
But
pretty impressive.
it is, and it's great. I mean, but we always believe that we sort of like, if you build it, they'll come. And that was
Yes.
sort of like, and unfortunately, you've got to invest money, and we've pumped a lot of money, but I was still working a full-time job doing
Yeah.
both. So that actually, you know, like anyone's going to hustle, you got to hustle hard, and you got a hobby / passion you're trying to get going.
Yes.
You've still got to have something to
Yeah.
feed it. I was very lucky that I was in a well-paying job that actually just kept feeding it.
Yeah. Yes.
But and good sponsors, but that was that finite line. But yeah, now, but interesting, we attract about 80% from out of town that fly in.
So it's now become such a well sought after event, or such a credible event, that people are flying in to just to
They do,
participate
yeah.
here.
From Perth, they come up. We had some
That's-
Tassie entrants last year, and
Wow.
I love looking at the data afterwards and
Yeah.
and pulling it apart. But you know, at that time of year, well, we 2 shows until just this year, but they're flying from everywhere. But it's the destination side of the town.
Of course.
They all
It's
come up here,
beautiful.
and you just watch their Facebook feeds, and you know they're down on the Strand riding that turtle, and then they're over on
Yes.
the island in the buggies, and
Yeah.
you know it's Townsville. It's Townsville's
Oh, we live in
destination.
an absolutely magnificent part
We
of the
do.
world. We really do.
And they love the friendly atmosphere, and that's what we're renowned for. Is the team we have.
Yeah.
People they love flocking here because it feels like a vacation. But we've now become their first choice when everyone's getting the calendar out. They go right. When's Tropix? And we do lead the season, which is good as far as the calendar.
Congratulations.
So yeah, people come in and they love to be part of Tropix, and we love it. We just
So
much
the
fun.
location and you build a really personable experience. Talk to me how you build a personable experience.
Yeah, well, I'm very hands-on, but so is the rest of the team. Like, it's the one thing we've always established is everyone who's part of our events, and that's all our events now, is that one culture thing that I really enforce. Is it's yours too. So that ownership.
Yeah.
So when you hear anyone talk about our events, they're very much like, oh, we do this, and it's, you know, we're going to do this, and it's ours. You know, it's that way. It's not just, oh, I do this for Scott and Kate. It's actually, I do this. You know, it's mine, and I love that, because when we're on game day, everyone owns it. You know, they're so passionate about it, and something goes wrong, and they're all over and they're fixing it. But equally too, if someone says something bad in the street about it, or there's some bad feedback, they can fix it for you, and that's what makes us renowned for.
So you've built a really good team culture.
Yeah.
Which it helps to. How do you do that? How do you build a good team culture?
I think it's because you're obviously I'm very hands-on, lead by example. So when we work in all our events, if you're not going to do it, then why can you ask someone else? It's in every business, events are just the same. A lot of people actually had a lot of volunteers from the union over the last couple of years and from the event scene, and they come down and go, I didn't realise you're so hands-on. You know, you guys do everything. I say, well, how else do you prove it? You got to get in there. If you're not prepared to do the crappy jobs, then
exactly, you can't improve it if you don't know exactly what's going on at the ground level.
Yeah.
So one of the things too, you and I were talking about when we were having our beers the other night at our friend's birthday party was sponsorship.
Yeah.
Because you being out there seeking sponsorship, I've worked on the other side where I've sponsored a lot of events, and we had quite a bit of a conversation about that. And I was really quite intrigued how you go about getting your sponsors, but the way you work with your sponsors, because sponsors are so important to get your event running, but also too from a marketing perspective, sponsorship is, that's one of the marketing tactics that I feel, you know, you can just do so much for your business and your brand.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what you offer in sponsorship.
Yeah, so we do it a little bit differently, as those who watch Kate's video, she's now running with that, and that's when we talk about mentorship. She runs with it now. She does actually a lot better than I do in some way. It's just collaborate the brain power and the experience of what those learnings to be done.
Yeah.
But I think our main secret sauce, and here you go, here's your secret sauce, so
Yes.
use this wisely. But it really is, when you sit down, you actually got to be authentic and be genuine with those partners. Like over the years, and we won't name the sponsors, but those, I've had checks sent to me for $5,000 to be involved with a brand. And so I want to get involved with the show, and I've said no to it.
Right, okay.
And some logic behind that, though, is sometimes if it doesn't feel like it fits.
Yep.
So if I think they're coming on board, versus
Yes.
we already may have a partner that we feel like it might cross over a bit.
Yep.
So not sometimes exclusivity has a price, but it's
Of
also
course, yeah.
that is one champion. You need to be clear with that. But it's also more around how do you make sure that it definitely aligns with everyone's going to get an outcome. And you got that lovely word ROI.
Yes.
But you don't actually. That's one part of it, but it's not the most important part of the secret sauce. It's actually just working out why that brand wants to be part of it.
Yes.
But when we do our proposals, it's very much the one page of all the lovely tick and flick stuff, but the second page is, well, what are we trying to get out of this? And that is our secret sauce. So we say to them, because obviously you can't meet everything if you've got a sponsor, but a lot of blue chips and even some smaller brands, you can get them thinking like a blue chip, a big partner. And well, if you're going to come on board, what makes your brand tick? Where are we going to fit? What activators are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? So when we get to the other side, that we actually get some rewards or some fruits. But also too, is we really pitch that the event is game day. That's fine. That's the pinnacle we're going for. But it's actually all around it, like all the lead up, post event. The audience is still there, and sometimes bigger. So how do we get that out? And if you have those conversations up front and frank with people, your partners will be a lot more receptive because they'll go get it working for you.
Totally.
So,
well, that's it, because I think that even for a small business or a small brand, is that you can take the right sponsorship event, and what you're talking about there too, making sure that the brands align and that you can actually go out and do so much for it. And I think that's really what you're talking about there, that the packages you put together are packages that are going to really work to help the business grow their business and get the most out of their sponsorship investment. Which, I being on the side of things where I quite often receive requests to sponsor, that's what I really value, is that you've put thought into how we're going to work together, and particularly why you want my brand, associated with your product.
Yeah, very much so.
That's so important.
It is, and even one step further, what we've done a little bit with, say it's $5,000 that we're asking for a partnership, and it has all those lovely tick and flicks, but breaking that down with that partner and say, okay, this is where we're going to channel that investment, as we call it, the partnership investment too. So some might go towards the app, some might be digital marketing, because even if you're only a 3-man operation, versus a 30 or 100 person, the rules are still the same. You just don't have a big marketing team sitting over there you can tap into, but they can still think and act like it. So if we're the conduit acting like that for them, it's okay, well, here's this, the big guys are doing this, here's what you can do, and this is where we'll plug it in, and this is where we're going to spend your investment to do that. And often what we found, it actually helps them trigger their thought process to go, well, hang on, I didn't know I could do that. I've just been doing my paid Facebook ads, I've been doing this, and say, it's cool, but here's what we could do.
And by doing that alignment too, is that you working with the right businesses in a sponsorship environment, they're actually going to promote your event for you. They're going to help you promote your event, and so that's where it's mutually beneficial working together. And
when you look at someone like, so for example, Audi, with our naming sponsor of the Tropix, people actually, wow, that's a big blue chip brand, Audi thing. But and then when you say, well, why they get involved, where does it fit? The main thing when you ask them is actually what do they look for is our demographic. It's the natural side, obviously we drug test, so it's a clean, healthy living, but it's also the broad spectrum of demographic that we touch. So people often label it as prestige brand, but it's actually there's a very affordable cars inside that range. But it's who are the audience we're talking to. So it's how you look at it.
It's slick, it's beautiful, it's all of those things that Tropix, for the example that we're talking about at the moment, it really is all about.
It is, very much.
Which makes sense. So you build that sponsorship to work with that business. So what if businesses come and approach you and go, Scott, I want to get on board, I love it. How do you go with that?
We often ask why. What are you trying to achieve? What do you think we're going to get into? Is it just the database? What are you looking to do? And then we just have a bit of a breakdown of that. And obviously then what have you tried, where have you marketed now, what's your audience? So similar things that they ask us. So what's your audience, what's your age group, because we know those stats, and that's something from an event perspective. Another hot tip is get your data so you actually can talk to people when sponsors do come to you and they say, what's your average demographic? And you go, I think I got 24-year-olds. I think most are female. Yeah. You need to be able to talk. Like I can tell you now all our events exactly what our reach is, who we work with, what's rising, what's not, those sort of things you have to, because you're not having real conversations. You're just smoke and mirrors. And sadly, you'll get found out. You may get away with it one event and the partner will go, oh yeah, we didn't quite work out, this didn't happen, and you get the excuses, but you won't get them a second time or third. So
totally, because that's it. I mean, everybody's got a finite marketing budget. We've all got constrictions on it, and it's how we maximise it. So exactly, you won't get them back if you just.
They'll try something new, and that's hard too. And that's the other side too, is a bit of a strategic plan. Is if you can get a 2 or 3 year deal, so we're going to try this in year one, then we're going to pivot this way, and work. Some things will work that you just don't even think of. You're like, well, how did that work? I don't know. That's just humans.
Just how it is.
Go with it. But others will be like, yep, that was strategic. We did this, we did that, and and it's how you touch too. It's using technology to your advantage, like radio, print media, conventional stuff. Yep, definitely has its place and where you need to put it.
Yes.
But it's what percentage of those do you play with, and when, like call to actions, all those sorts of things are really important. So and there is some logic to it always. You just got to find the right people which are giving you the black magic. Oh, it's all this and that. But you got to see through that a little bit and have some frank conversations.
Yes.
But that's what I say, it comes back to, I remember old Alfie from Pizza Napoli when we're talking about in the early days, he said, you're just so passionate, authentic about it. How can I not give you money? I said that is good, but you also need a commercial now. And I do love the old palmy every now and then, but don't get one very often anymore. But but those are things you have to be authentic, but also just a bit more than passion too. Because if you just all like, yes, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like,
absolutely. I mean, you've got to deliver. You've got to deliver what you promised on.
Yeah,
absolutely. You've got to do that. So now going back, so you've done your first Tropix event, which you've gone, cool, I got to compete, and you made a little bit of money from that. But then, so that was only really the start of Piper Promotions. So then where did that then start to grow, that other events or opportunities started to come on board? So so your first event with Piper Promotions or for Tropix was, what did we say, 2012, sorry.
2012, yeah. So
2006, sorry.
Feels like way back then.
Yeah,
no, not that early. Yeah, so back then, because obviously had another company called Bodybuilder, which was running that entity before Piper Promotions sort of evolved. But in between that, obviously then we started to still doing Tropix, but I wanted to do a bit more. So I obviously wanted to play more in the event space. So I was still working full time.
I really like events. I think this is. I think maybe I want to do this as a full-time gig.
Yeah, that was the utopia. It wasn't really eventuating. I was still trying. I did Emerging Leaders in 2015 with Townsville Enterprise, and I met Marty McDonough in there, and he had a little product called Seek in the City, which was like a team building. So he was owner, so I helped him with a few of those, and then we partnered up and we went and bid for Spartan Race to bring Spartan Race here. And it'd been Tough Mudder had been approached a couple of years before that, and it didn't happen. So Marty and I created McDonough Piper Promotions then. And in this time, I actually had known Kate in there, and obviously it'll make sense a little bit where she fits into the equation to where we are now. But Marty and I then did the Spartan Race, which was a massive learning curve, and interesting enough, we basically contracted to them to bring it here. So
you approached them?
Yeah, you went down and we took Pat Brady down with us to meet Max DeLacy in Sydney, who was the owner of Spartan Race at the time, and he, very genuine, another great guy to work, and Paddy with the commercial sense of the business community helped us give that certainty rather than underwrite it. We underwrote it with the power of business towns rather than upfront cash, because that's where it was all went wrong before. They were trying to get underwriting from the council and things like that, which is really hard to do in regional. So short version of that story is, we took Paddy down, and Marty and I went down, and we went to Sydney, and they made me run around the Opera House, and that was just not fun at all because it was cold and I don't run. So but that's another story. But I still beat Marty though, that's all I wanted. But Pat Brady, one fit man. But he off we went anyway. So we got that, we brought it, we delivered it in 2017, and then that next summer, is we launched I Am Challenge, which is the Ninja.
Yes.
So, and at that time, Kate was a sponsor with her and CMC, and she started to see and had obviously been connected through the chamber. And
because it was through the chamber that they put you guys in contact for you to mentor Kate, is that correct?
Yeah, she stitched me up that well, probably. Ben Preston, I reckon it was just a stitch up. But yeah, I'd finished Emerging Leaders, and I was sort of still wanting to be involved and working out what I was going to help with, and then I think they scissor paper rock, but Kate got to me first, and then asked me to jump onto the young chamber at that time. I went, I'm 38. I think I'm young still. I don't like this name. It's now CPC now, but and then Ben found out, Ben Prest, who's also on there, and he found out that she got to be first, and it's a stitch up for sure. But anyway, we were on that. But that was that connection to the to that business world. But yeah, so we had I Am Challenge, which is the Ninja event, which we coupled with Tropix. So there's a synergy a long way around.
It makes sense.
But that was just being clever from the event world, as we had the big entertainment centre, and what do you do to fill a 2-day hire, if you like? A lot of money to hire the place. So what we did is we actually got the Ninja kit, ordered that
which we see behind us,
and put that into a rigging, and we actually set up in the roof. So we built the Tropix stage like we normally would. And then we had all the chairs down on the floor, and underneath the carpet was the matting on the floor. And basically all the rigging was up on the roof.
Wow.
So when everyone was sitting there watching the Tropix show, and they look up and there was all the Ninja kit. And then at the end of the Tropix show on the Saturday, we pulled all the chairs together, moved them out, and dropped the rigging down out of the roof, and it became a warrior course. Sadly, we were a bit too early for our game, and it cost a lot of money.
Oh, okay,
we lost it. There you're learning sort of event. Don't think it's all roses. It's Tropix. Tropix has had some heavy investments and some heavy losses. Damn you Cowboys for 2015 for winning the grand final. You cost us a lot of money that win. But great win. I see that highlight video. They talk about how great it was. All I see was all the money that I didn't get that day.
Right.
Because everyone went down there and flew out of town.
Oh, of course,
And the semi-finals. So September with event season and Cowboys.
You don't do that. It's like, you don't get married on grand final weekend.
Exactly, unless you really love those sports. But so lessons learned in there. You can never pick the calendar and you think, but those events. So it's not all roses. The Tropix world has cost an absolute fortune.
So picking the date of your event, key, very important.
Very key. But then again, you can never pick it. Like everyone, you base it on the Cowboys draw in a regional town like ours, and you got to pick your event schedule, but you don't know they're going to win the semis or get into the finals. And last year, when they didn't get through, you've never seen any cheer so and we were down there for semis, and I'm thinking, I love you Cowboys, but please don't win. So I got Tropix coming up.
This is going public.
Yeah. But I love you Cowboys, I really do. But I tell you what, you've never heard our little fit fam go, please don't win, please don't win. We just have a flashback to the other 15. But it was fun. But from event promoters, it's like rain. If you see a storm come through, a cyclone, and you just think, I've got an outdoor event, it's going to rain. Long range forecast, but date timing is key, and weather, the weather guides. But fortunately, most of our events
we're pretty lucky up here.
So, but that sort of thing. So MP Promotions or McDonald Piper Promotions at that time. Marty then after that sort of realised that he wanted to go back into real estate, and so he come out of it. So I left with dropped the McDonald, and I had just Piper Promotions, and then bid for the running festival at that time.
Right.
So I was actually Marty and I were still partnerships when I was bidding for the running festival when the tender came out. So it was one of those moments. I'm going to bid for it. I'm going to go. It's got piper.com here, but hey, I'm gonna go. I've got Tropix.
So you've got to give it a go, don't you? If you're not, you miss 100% of the shots, you don't go for it.
Exactly. And Kate was still obviously through mentorship through Chamber was getting involved in helping out there, and obviously showed a little bit of appetite in learning more about the event world. So then it became like, okay, I've got Pipe Promotions, got this Ninja kit sitting in a storage doing nothing. Hey, we're going to start up a Ninja kit as well. But I think you already heard the story how Studio M evolved. But so that if you haven't watched Tash TV, go watch Kate's. Watch Tash TV. So you have to watch 2 episodes now to catch the first story. We're like a mini series.
It's a bit like a mini series.
But so we started to partner up, and then Piper Promotions, then Kate come into the fold, and the complementary skill sets really
Yes.
started to resonate.
Yeah. So you've spoken about getting involved with Townsville Enterprise and also to the Chamber of Commerce as well.
Yep.
How important was getting involved in those two support groups for your business?
Oh, huge. I think Townsville, the Emerging Leaders program
Yeah.
was a deal breaker in my my success or my change, if you like.
Yeah.
You sort of you get partnered with a mentor,
Yes.
which was great. So Rob McIntosh, he's the CEO of Honeycombs JCB, so Honeycombs Sales and Service. He was my mentor all the way through, and everyone gets one obviously
Yes,
through the
yeah.
program. But I think what people don't realise is how important those connections you come, but at what level. You always say there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, but people have this perception that there's a pod of people that they just get lucky by things happen to them. But it's so much more than that when you're excited. You're rubbing shoulders with Julie Bishop, when she came up here. We
Yeah.
had the Prime Minister, my mate Mal, he's not in there anymore, but
Yeah.
we had selfies, we go way
Yeah.
back, not really, but with Glenn Richards, Steve Baxter, the irony with Glenn Richards from Green Cross Vets, if you don't know him, I actually built his first server when he started out in Courage on his little
Really?
thing, and then
Wow.
we're sitting around a table 22 years later,
Yeah.
and I know you. And I said, yeah, we do. And I said, I built your first server, and now he's $1 billion
absolutely
empire.
massive.
But they're very humble people. But that from a commercial aspect and mixing around, like even locals like Lawrence and Patty and Caroline McManus, that's what makes your circle stronger. And you've got to tap into them. You've got to be able to get exposure, and that's my biggest advice: is get mentorship from those sort of people. But it's also the commercial connections you derive from that and what you build. But yeah, that's only an 18-month program. But I tell you what, Eleni Melinos, who runs that, connects you with so many things and opportunities. But I gave the speech at our graduation night for our alumni when we came out, and I said to everyone in the group and all our people there is that I took it as though like a gym membership. You'll get out what you put in. So it's like a gym. You can rock up a gym and you'll go, I don't feel like coming today.
Yeah, of course.
You'll get out there and you'll feel dynamite. If you put your effort in.
Yeah.
Exactly that. The chamber's been great. Like the chamber's the same deal. It's a different channel. Like one's the TAL and is your tourism and events, and then your chamber is your commerce. We always say the stool is the council. That's really important because it connects you to all three.
Yep,
So
okay.
getting involved with those things is huge for your corporate networking and even personal development, because you just meet like-minded people.
Yeah.
Maybe some not, but a lot more so.
Yeah.
But it depends which way you want to go.
So
like how we meet you.
Yeah, oh, exactly. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So particularly, I think, to being a local business, it's so important to have those connections, networks, and
just where to turn too. Like sadly, some people just think people get lucky and these opportunities present themselves, but it's like fishing. You got to go out and hunt.
I don't believe in that. I believe that you make your own luck.
You do,
and that you've got to keep putting yourself out there, because the more often you put yourself out there, then that's how your luck appears. It doesn't just land in your lap. You work bloody hard to get lucky. And
go looking, go get a connection and then go, okay. And it's a little bit different to your general networking. You go around and you hand out business cards. It's find people that are in your circle or have got an interest, but not just say, I'm going to use you for what you can do for me. It's go the other way and say, how can I help you? Because it will come back around. The collaboration, is key. But if you just start to get involved with someone and you start helping them just out of goodwill, 9 times out of 10 it's going to come back and help you. And that karma of just collaborating with other businesses and supporting them, you're going to need something later on and they come back around. That's been my mantra for a long time. And sometimes it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you get used a little bit, but that's okay. That's life. You learn.
You learn from it.
But I'll never be bitter about it. Some people fit in the circle, some people don't. So
that's it. We've all got different circles.
We do. But the corporate connections, but just getting yourself exposed and never degrade what you think your skill set has to offer. I think I've met a few people, and there's a sup owner in town that he asked me a while ago, and he said, I just need to get those circles, but no one takes me seriously. I rock up in my gym gear. And I said, you still have to wear the polo and the pants and that. And I said, no. I said, sadly, some people will. They will. Perception is when you first introductions. But I guarantee once you start talking and you start sharing stories, easy. But if those people judge you straight up on your walk or what you look at, then you probably don't want to be doing business with them.
But then it comes back to I think what you were talking about right at the very start, the passion you have for what you do.
Yep.
That it doesn't matter what you show up in and what you're wearing when you show up there, because the passion just comes through. And when you truly, truly love what it is that you do, then that's how you make your connections. It's not with what you're wearing. It's not with people not taking you seriously, because people are going to take you seriously when you are speaking from your heart.
And your authenticity.
Yeah.
Be authentic. And the other motto I have is that be enjoyable to do business with. That's what people do love.
Yes.
If you're really enjoyable, that's with my IT world. Like, for 23 years of that, a lot of the times I wouldn't do things if I didn't feel comfortable or was going to be wrong with them. Even though it's great commission, you take the money. I was terrible at that because I just couldn't do it. But also go the extra mile. Like, be enjoyable to be. Nothing's a hassle. Sometimes you might get off the phone and go, oh man, I don't want to do that. But hopefully, and it usually does, it pays dividends and comes out the other side. People get lost in that. It's one of my biggest pet hates and things I struggle with is it's self-serve. Give me first and then I help you.
No.
Towns are too small. Regional towns, you will not survive. It's not metro where you can do that and then change suburbs and rip off 20 people and then go next suburb and keep going. It'll catch you real quick in towns.
Oh, look, absolutely. I don't think in any business though, you over-deliver. I think now we're in, the digital and the global space that we've got. If you're not over-delivering, if you're not delivering a really great product and delivering exactly what you've promised, it goes down. It spirals down pretty quickly. It's a very doesn't take much to Google your name and to see some pretty poor reviews or some great reviews.
Yeah, and people usually know. Like, if you're doing well, people will talk about you and you'll get each other. And people. So I'm proud to say, and I come from my dad. Reference when he was with Wayne for so long, but for so many years I was known as Bill's son. Oh, you're Bill's son in my IT world. I said, yeah, I'm Bill's son. And but that was fine because he had a name and credibility that really good. And it holds you in good stead. But lucky he's a good, honest man. Otherwise, I'd be in trouble the other way.
You'd be changing your last name.
But no, but he's. But that's what carries you. Particularly if you're born and bred in towns or you've got long roots in here. Use it to your advantage, and that's important. So,
Oh, look, very, very much so. Very much so. So now, when we caught up with Kate, when we chatted with Kate, like we said, got you back and watched that interview. Massive growth for you guys in the last 18 months. It's just been huge. Have you taken a moment to catch your breath yet?
No. And scarily enough, we've got about 3 other new things in the pipeline at the moment, which will come to fruition in the next month or so. But it's funny, like it's I always say it's just the worst timing that you could think it's going to happen, and it presents, but you just got to run with it. Like we've got so much going on at the moment, but then it's great because it's usually how you roll. Like we are at a point that we are going to have to stop and do our resets. I mean, Glenn Richards 101, or if you're going to steal something from him and actually tell you about that, is that one thing he led through that emerging leaders thing was that even in a business his size, every 3 months they actually stop and reset the business, and it's pretty common knowledge, but to do it is really hard. That's one thing we do a lot of. At least it doesn't feel like you've actually stopped time and everything's all big power hour day meeting and all that, but we actually do stop and say, where are we at, what do we got control of, that sort of thing. At the moment it's a little bit crazy getting the pace of things. Like it's been a hectic last 6 months in particular. But it's been a build-up, and that's why I think it doesn't. It's not too daunting because it's been.
You've been working on it.
It's just everything's coming to fruition. A little tricky because it's all coming at one time, but that's okay. We just, but it's also seizing some new opportunities and dovetailing them in, but also not saying yes to everything because some of them just don't fit. And all the right timing. There's a couple of things lately we just sort of love it, but. You're just going to have to sit over
just
there.
Park it for a minute, but it's there. You know that it's there, and hey, when it's the right time, that opportunity might still be there.
Very much.
I really like what you just said then too, Scott. Just about taking that moment every 3 months, just to pause in the business, just to look. I think because you need to, because you've got your vision, you've got your plan, you know what it is that you're working towards. Sometimes that momentum can get really, really fast. That you do. You need to stop and go. Hang on a second. Whoa, hang on, we're over here. Let's just bring it back to here. Or what's that thing we've got going on over there? That doesn't fit with our vision. Maybe we need to let that go. And that's really important, particularly when you've got the momentum that you've got going.
It is. But it's also probably the other side, the collaboration. Nobody share, like particularly from the app side on those, is there's so much IP that we can do, and we can do a lot ourselves. But we're getting to a point where we call it right sourcing rather than outsourcing. We right source, so it's
right. I like that.
What do we? A nice buzzword, eh?
Yeah.
But it's very true. Like if you really want to successfully grow and collaborate, sometimes you just got to stop and go, okay, well, I have this problem and I need to fix it with these type of resources. I can't I can't find that magic unicorn to fill.
Yes.
Like everyone would love that person that can do all that. But if you've been in business long enough or been running around, you know the cycles change, like where people are actually siloing themselves a little bit. They're actually specialising, where we used to be probably 4 or 5 years ago, everyone was trying to do everything. And that was okay, it was accepted because you had to, because there was times were tough.
Yes.
Now it's coming into a little bit tighter and people are. So you to employ that, it's a bit risky, because what happens if that work dries up? But it's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
So we've actually been doing a lot of just right sourcing, where we go, okay, we've got this problem. These guys do this really well. Yeah. Can we collaborate? And a lot more businesses are becoming more mindset to collaborate. So we're actually going, okay, you do that, we'll partner up. Here's the piece of work, and they do that for us. And then, so like our digital marketing, for example, we do a lot of that. But you got to get that comfort level that you're not going to cut your grass and it's all going to balance out. And that's key, because you can keep growing, but you're also staying on your core, but you're also offering these product sets. So that's one little method we've used at the moment. We've got about another 5 or 6 other areas we have to do really quickly. Yes. Just scarily enough, we're actually on the verge of putting payroll on, having to get staff soon, but they align with opportunities. So
that's exciting.
We've waited so long, and we're like, how do we keep doing this? But we actually are at a point now where we can't do that anymore, because there's only so many hours in the day. I keep trying to create more, but there's only 24. I keep telling there's 25, I'm sure.
But sleeping's overrated.
It is overrated.
Nobody needs that.
Damn, this Fitbit, I tell you now, just tells you everything. Tell you how many sleep you don't get. I think we were talking about that. You took yours off.
I took mine off. I just went, I don't want anybody dictating. I don't want this device dictating to me that I haven't walked enough, I haven't done this yet. No.
But it's key, and that's one of the handbrakes to your growth. But sometimes it can also be a thing, because you control the lever. But that's that. Knowing how to drive that lever is key. But we are just moving so quick at the moment. It's great, but great. Who knows what's next?
So can you share anything with us? What's coming next? Or is it still
not
quite? Okay. All right. I know that when we caught up with Kate, was that it was just at the right time that you were launching. You had just signed on an ambassador, which was sorry, I forgot his name.
Daniel.
Daniel,
thank you. Star, yes.
Daniel, who is on Australian Ninja Warrior, who is a local Townsville person and trains here.
Yes.
And has been down here too and done some demos as well.
Yep.
So, that's exciting.
It is.
I mean, and then again, I think I love a lot of what you guys have done too. It's just all been natural. It's just all organic growth that's come for your business. Yeah.
And it's funny you mention that, because we're only talking to our staff this week. And when I say staff, we got the casual guys on there. They pull the mic out. The guys.
I think you knocked the camera a bit too. Then
I'm still here. See, it's raw and live.
Yes, don't cut yourself out of the picture, please, Scott. You're the main event.
But from the ninja side, as we obviously that was an organic product. It's been growing. We're in the bigger space and all those sort of things. But recently, with a franchise moving to town, we've been going 18 months. And the team immediately, you get defensive. It's like any business, another coffee shop opens or that. It's like, they're going to steal my market. And we said to the guys that, and this is from that experience, that yes, okay, it's a threat. Everything can be a threat per se, but then they're not the same.
No.
So if we were another franchise ninja gym running around, but then you look at what do you got that's different. And we're lucky, because when it stops, you makes you reset again on the business. We've got Dan, but also we're actually a ninja training course. We're not, so it's great because it only builds the community bigger. So we said to the guys, it's perfect because now the community becomes bigger.
That's it, exactly.
But then from a business side, we then reset and said, okay, well, what's our strengths? What do we get the most out of? And that's I can share what our next wave in. One of them is we're working a lot with That's It. So we're working through our RAP at the moment, which is that Indigenous certification.
Right. Okay.
So
yes.
we already do a lot. We didn't, and that was the thing. We had reset and go, hang on a minute. We're doing these things with TARS, Clontarf, STARS group, all those community groups, and a heap more. But how do you formalise that properly to give these kids opportunity and the disadvantaged youth that we do so much of? And with Dan, with his Indigenous ambassadorship, it's the mentorship and all those things come into it. That it's an oyster in itself.
Yeah.
It's huge, but
Again, it's just organic growth again.
it is organic and it's rewarding, and but it's a point of difference, and that's what every business needs to do. You guarantee you'll have something in your business. You just got to stop sometimes and go, what is it? What are we? What are we? So,
Yes.
so that's a new wave we got coming in. But Dan's obviously on TV at the moment, and he's having fun. He's got a few more challenges ahead. Hopefully he gets through to the big one. But
Fingers crossed.
Come and meet him and watch him ninja. But
Fabulous. Oh, look, Scott, thank you so very much for your time.
No, you're welcome.
It's fantastic. You have shared so many great tips around sponsorship, getting support from the local community, how to go out building networks, and really just looking at the growth and how you over deliver on the product and what it is that you've got to offer, and particularly giving back to the community too.
Yeah.
So thank you so very much
you're
for
welcome.
your very precious time. I really appreciate that, because you do have so very much on.
It's good, it's good. But no, thank you for the opportunity, and these one things I love. We can share stories, and that's the thing. If you can get around people that can give you some advice and small tips, and even connect you to another person that can they help you.
Yes.
But thank you for your time.
Your passion for what you do clearly shines through. I think that everybody here will will be able to resonate with that. So guys, get down here to the I Am Ninja studio and check it out.
Yes. Come on
Scott
down.
from Piper Promotions, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.